It's time for Dodger Baseball. I did the daily huddle 4 times yesterday. It didn't work out, and the game went till midnight. But I'm here today. Let's go. Imagine living through a moment where history doesn't rhyme. It screams. The rich are getting richer at the fastest pace in modern history, while the working class is getting crushed by inflation, credit card debt, and rent. Is that you? You see, the economy isn't just divided, it's bifurcated. And if this continues, there are only 3 ways it ends. That's what history tells us: reform, revolution, or reset. And while governments print and corporations panic, one asset stands tall: Bitcoin. Because in a world that's breaking apart, Bitcoin represents something no central bank can manipulate: freedom. What's up, family? It's Coach Masi, and you're locked in to the Daily Huddle. This is where we break down the biggest Bitcoin headlines, financial news, and macro market trends so you can stay informed, stay disciplined, and stay ready for opportunity. But before we dive in, hit that like button, share this video with someone who loves Bitcoin news as much as you do, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already to never miss when we go live. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about what's really happening beneath the surface: the K-shaped economy. Because this isn't a theory anymore. It's the world we're living in. When economists say K-shaped recovery, here's the picture. One side of the K shoots upward. That's Wall Street, big tech, luxury assets, and the upper class. The other side collapses. That's small businesses, wage earners, and the average family fighting just to stay afloat. You see, this is exactly what we're seeing right now. The stock market breaks records, but over 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Corporate profits are booming, yet small businesses can't get financing because banks are tightening credit. The top 10% of households hold and own nearly 90% of all the financial assets, while the middle class, the backbone of America, keeps shrinking. You see, the headlines say the economy is strong, but for who? When housing affordability is at a 40-year low, grocery prices are up double digits, and credit card debt just passed 1.3 trillion, shrink looks a lot like struggle. You see, this is the kind of divide that doesn't sustain itself. You see, history tells us every time inequality accelerates this fast, it ends one of 3 ways: reform, revolution, or reset. You see, reform happens when leaders actually listen. When they fix what's broken through tax reform, fair policy, or a new monetary framework. It's the hopeful path. Revolution happens when people lose faith in the system, when protests turn to movements and movements turn to change, not through ballots, but through pressure. That's the dangerous path. And then there's reset, the hard reboot. That's when the weight of debt, inflation, and inequality becomes too heavy for the system to carry. It's when currencies devalue, market crash, and a new financial order emerges, sometimes by design and sometimes by disaster. See, we've seen it before: the late 1800s Gilded Age, the Great Depression, the stagflation of the 1970s. Every time the gap between the haves and have-nots becomes unsustainable, something snaps. And from that chaos, a new system is born. Right now, we're inching closer to that breaking point. Wages can't keep up with cost. Real estate is out of reach for an entire generation, at least in their minds. And the government prints trillions while telling us inflation is under control. People feel it. You feel it. And in that pressure, Bitcoin emerges as the alternative. It's not just a hedge, it's the antidote to the K shape, a system built on transparency, equality of access, and mathematical fairness instead of manipulation and debt. The K-shaped economy is a warning sign, and every warning sign in history has one purpose: to wake people up before the reset hits. History gives us the blueprint. I know, I got a master's degree in social science. It always does, because money doesn't just tell the story of the economy, it tells the story of power, control, and what people believe in. In the late 1920s, the world was booming. The stock market was roaring, credit was easy, and speculation was everywhere. Sound familiar? Everyone thought prosperity would last forever until it didn't. Massive inequality, extreme leverage, and reckless optimism collided, and the result was the Great Depression. The global financial system had to hit rock bottom before it could rebuild. That was a full economic reset, a forced lesson in what happens when debt grows faster than reality. Fast forward to the 1970s. Inflation was raging, oil prices were exploding, and the US dollar was crumbling under the weight of the promises that was kept from then President Nixon. And They did something that changed history forever. He took the dollar off the gold standard. You hear Robert Kiyosaki talk about it all the time. Overnight, the world's money was no longer tied to something scarce. It was tied to trust. And when that trust began to erode, the era of fiat currency was born. Another global reset. Then came 2008. The financial system once again collapsed under its own weight. Toxic debt, reckless lending, and a banking sector that thought it was untouchable. Millions lost their homes, their savings, their faith in the system. But out of that chaos, something revolutionary was born. Bitcoin, the first decentralized monetary system built not on trust, but on truth. No middleman, no bailouts, no central authority, just math, code, and transparency. See the pattern? Every time the system breaks, humanity innovates. Every collapse gives birth to a new foundation, a better, fairer, more resilient form of value exchange. And in this cycle, Bitcoin isn't the rebellion. It's the reform before the revolution. It's the lifeboat before the ship sinks. It's the peaceful protest written in code, a system designed for the people, by the people, that runs without permission. While politicians argue about budgets, opening the government, Bitcoin runs on math. While banks create credit out of thin air, Bitcoin enforces scarcity with precision. And while governments inflate away your purchasing power, Bitcoin just keeps producing block after block, flawlessly, predictably, incorruptibly. It doesn't need your vote. It doesn't ask for your trust. It simply performs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for everyone, everywhere in this globe. This is the moment in history where the old and the new collide. Centralized money is decaying. Decentralized money is rising. And once again, the imbalance is forcing innovation. But this time, it's global, it's digital, and it's unstoppable. Bitcoin is more than a price chart. It's a mirror. It reflects where we've been, and more importantly, where we're going. Because when the next reset comes, the world won't be asking, what is Bitcoin? They'll be asking, why didn't I pay attention sooner? Here's the truth. Bitcoin loves both instability and clarity. When uncertainty rises, people run to hard assets. When clarity returns, liquidity floods back in. And Bitcoin captures the upside. We're entering a world where both can exist at the same time. Political chaos, monetary easing, and technological optimism all colliding. That's the perfect storm for Bitcoin's next leg. Now, add the MicroStrategy milestone we just saw, the first Bitcoin treasury company in history to receive a credit rating on its preferred equity. That's Wall Street saying, we see it, we can rate it, we can value it. Bitcoin isn't the shadow asset anymore. It's entering the credit system. That's a paradigm shift. So when you hear people saying Bitcoin is too risky, remind them, risk isn't holding Bitcoin. Risk is holding a currency that loses 3%, which I think actually about 14% of its value every year, but 2 to 3 every month through inflation. Risk is sitting in a system where the rules keep changing. Bitcoin isn't risky, it's honest. But this is not financial advice. As we head deeper into Q4, all eyes are on the Fed, the economy, and corporate earnings. If the Fed signals rate cuts are coming sooner than expected, liquidity will surge, and Bitcoin could catch another major bid. If earnings disappoint and the economy slows, risk assets might wobble temporarily, but the narrative remains the same. Hard money wins long term. Meanwhile, the global landscape is shifting fast. The US-China trade deal talks are heating up again. Major corporations are holding Bitcoin on their balance sheets. And retail investors, the same people who were once laughed at for stacking sats, are now being validated by Wall Street. Thank you, Michael Saylor. That's not just a market shift, that's a cultural shift. So here's my question for you, family. Do you think the K-shaped economy ends with reform, revolution, or a full-blown reset? I bet the people of New York have some questions right now. And if it's a reset, will Bitcoin be the new foundation? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one of them. And if this episode helped you see the big picture, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And like I said, share this with someone who loves Bitcoin news daily and wants to stay informed. Again, remember, it's your money you're investing. So this is not financial advice. It's for educational purposes only. But this is one of those moments in history where understanding money isn't optional. It's essential. Well, that's your daily hodl. Stay sharp, stay disciplined, and as always, go Dodgers. Lead.Pray.Hodl. I'll see you in the next one.